G'day guys, welcome to a tipping video, that was a mainstay of my YouTube and Facebook for a while there, but I've gone away from it in recent weeks. A couple people asked for it to return on a Q&A I did on Instagram before. Make sure you're following it, just there. So yeah, Cowboys versus Bulldogs. My live reaction to all the tips, guys. Look, just for the venue here. Just looking out, it's 1300 Smile Stadium. This is the last ever game the Cowboys will play at that venue because, of course, they have the new stadium built in Townsville ready. Bulldogs have been on a tear 4 in a row, but I just have to wonder, can they sustain that? Is the pressure of having to win every single game a little bit too much for their inexperienced side? I think it is. I think the Cowboys get this one done for Matty Scott, and I think they retire 1300 Smile Stadium in fashion. It'll be a tight one, but I'm going to go ahead and tip the Cowboys by 4 points there. All right, across the ditch now, we go to Mount Smart Stadium. Warriors host the Rabbitohs, and it's impossible for me to tip anything but the Rabbitohs here, guys. From what I saw last weekend, I saw them get back on track, and I haven't seen enough consistency from the Warriors. I've seen some lazy middle forwards in there that allow hookers to get our dummy half. They don't tidy up the middle or play that nice style of tight defense. And as a result, we know Damien Cook is electric out of dummy half. He will get out. He will catch them. And when he does, like we saw against the Broncos, Adam Reynolds, Cody Walker, they jump on the back of him. They ride that wave of momentum. And although it was only a 10-minute period, they absolutely dominated the Broncos. Can they repeat that for a longer effort against the Warriors? Absolutely they can. Conditions might play into this one. You have to imagine it be maybe wet, bit cold there on a Friday night. But regardless, I just think the Bunnies have too much firepower here. I'm going to tip them to win. I'm going to tip the Cookie Monster to get over for a try. We'll go Rabbitohs by 8 points there. Broncos against the Eels at Suncorp Stadium. Now, this one is next to impossible to tip. The Broncos were very unlucky to lose against the Rabbitohs. They were the better side for majority of that match, but that 10-minute lapse they had cost them because the Rabbitohs scored twice. Very, very quick concession. Eels, look, they've come off a disappointing performance, and I have to think, given what they went through last year, that is going to put a lot of doubt in their mind. How they respond to that is going to define this game. We could see a great Eels outfit come out that run riot against the Broncos, or we could see their confidence with a huge dint in it and the Broncos are able to overcome them. Regardless, I think they'll be right up for the trip to Suncorp. I'm going to tip the Eels by 2 points, even though my head tells me Broncos. More tipping with my heart there. Knights versus Titans. Obviously, you guys know I like to tip the Titans, but I just think with what happened to the Newcastle Knights last week, regardless that their season is over, at McDonald Jones in front of their home fans again, they're going to want to send a message and they're going to want to play for some pride, really. When you're beaten like they were last week at Campbelltown, if I was a fan of the Knights, I'd be very disgusted, upset, angry, frustrated. There's so many emotions to feel there after that loss. And you have to remember, guys, if we're feeling it as fans, then the players are feeling it 5 times worse because they're the ones that had to go out there and cop it. And for that reason, I think they'll get the upper hand here. Let's go Bradman Best to score his first try in the NRL. And let's go the Newcastle Knights to win by 4 points. All right, this game here, if there was ever a rugby league game, guys, that is untippable, that is a flip of the coin, it's the Sea Eagles versus the Storm. Now, hear me out as to why I'm going to tip the Storm here. The Storm played bad last week against the Titans. They just did. They got the win easily, but they played bad. They were just lucky they outclassed them. And the Melbourne Storm never play 2 poor matches. Now, the Sea Eagles, they went over to Amy Park, defeated the Storm. The very next week, they lost to the Warriors. Now they've just gone into GIO Stadium and defeated the Raiders. And it's the week after. Again, and I have to wonder, can they keep that sort of focus level, concentration levels up? Ultimately, guys, regardless of what I've just said there, the Sea Eagles beat them at Amy, so why can't they do it at Lottoland? This is a tough game to pick, but I mean, I've got to give you one. Look, let's go cliche Melbourne Storm, get the rub of the whistle. That's what everyone likes to say. Let's go Melbourne Storm by 1 point. And if I get that wrong, guys, please don't shoot me because that is a bloody tough one to tip. Roosters versus Panthers at the SCG. This will be a slaughter, guys. Mark my word, the Roosters are firming, and my phone is vibrating off its head. Sorry, they're all messages I'm getting. The Roosters are firming hard towards the finals here. And if we look at their last results at the SCG, I mean, I believe they smashed the Warriors 42-6. And I'm just looking the week, 2 weeks before that, 58-6 against the Titans. The Roosters love playing at the SCG. They've got more to play for than the Panthers. They are still within reach of potentially the minor premiership. I believe. I could be wrong on that. No, if they win these 2 games and Storm lost the next 2, then they could win the minor premiership. They'd have to make up a 40-point differential, but it's not impossible. I think they got more to play for than the Penrith Panthers. Panthers obviously playing to get back in that top 8. They're on equal points right now, but I can't see them getting over the Roosters, guys. There's too much firepower, and the Roosters significantly improve because they have that championship mentality and that experience at this time of the year. I'm going to have to tip the Roosters here, guys. I'm going to tip the Roosters by 12 points. I think they get it done quite easily. Sharks versus Raiders, PointsBet Stadium. I'm going to tip the Raiders here. Yeah, I'm going to tip the Raiders because they're coming off a loss to the Seagulls, a very disappointing loss, and that's going to sting. And I know Ricky will drive that into them all week. Whereas the Sharks are coming off what was perceived by myself, if no one else, a win over a relatively easy Warriors side. The Warriors didn't throw much at them in attack, and they didn't have any shape, formation to their attack. It was basic, one-dimensional, and defensively, I think they missed about 49 tackles, if I remember from my report correctly, which is, look, we know the Raiders won't allow you to miss 49 tackles, right? Regardless, the Sharks, they leaked 16 points to this very one-dimensional Warriors attack. Now, I think the Raiders will be able to easily defend off 16 points. If the Sharks let them Raiders cross for 16 points, possibly 18 with Jared Croker's terrific goal kicking, I think it's all over. If the Sharks win this, it's going to be defensively, but I see this being another low-scoring game, and I'm going to tip the Canberra Raiders by 4 points. Final game for the round. We're also at the Sydney Cricket Ground here again. We've got the Dragons versus the West Tigers, and after what I saw last week, how could I tip anything else but a West Tigers win here? The Dragons have shown me nothing really at a majority of this year, whereas the Tigers, whilst they have been inconsistent, if there was ever a time to jump on the back of some momentum and take it, it's now. And the Tigers need to be do or die. They win this game and they topple the Sharks next week at Leichhardt Oval. They could be a top 8 side, but ultimately, I do think the Dragons will come out and put a fight up here, but I'm going to tip the Tigers comfortably. I think they get it done by 6 points, guys. So they're my tips for the upcoming round. As always, if you want to leave yours in the comment section, feel free to do so. If you want to ask any questions as to why I made particular tips and I didn't explain it well enough here, also feel free to comment that below, guys. That's the that's the Facebook and that's the Instagram. Make sure you're following those guys and have yourself a terrific day or night now because it's bloody 8:30. Cheers, guys.